Alrighty, guys. Alright, guys, I can get this link posted across the board, then we'll get underway here, guys. Why is this not working? Happy Tuesday. Guys, I'm not sure. I'm trying to post this link. It's not working. Hold on. Not sure why it's not working. I don't know. Well, whatever. I'm not sure why it's not working, but... Why isn't... Oh, there we go. Alright, I don't know if the TikTok is working or not, but whatever. Caught long, nice. Yeah, I caught a little bit of a bounce right here off of this level here. Nothing crazy, 15 points. That's what I caught. What up, Mitra? Not sure why the TikTok stream is not working though. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. Alright, there we go. But, you know, I just hopped on here, and unfortunately I kind of caught this long. I mean, we still potentially could bounce more, but I already caught this piece here, as you guys can see. You know, nothing crazy. 162 times 3. So, we're kind of going to wait and see here. We're going to wait and see what's going on across the board with the other indices. RTY under VWAP. The Dow is above VWAP. Just gonna have to wait for this right here. 5-minute close at the very least. I'm just like in my brain mapping it out. I mean, like, you can justify the long for like a scalp to VWAP here. It's about a 1-to-1 R to R. So like you can justify it. I don't know if I want to take it or not. It probably ends up working, but I just don't want to double dip because I did already take this long and I got 15 points from it. So I'll want to wait for the 5-minute close and we'll see. Maybe after the 5-minute close we can get something. Yeah, at this point it's a little too far, right? This is not the best R to R. I don't really care 100% like all the time about R to R. I care about high probability, but on a day like this, I care a little bit more. You know, because again, from here, if you were to take entry, call it 60. The stop is 30 wide for a 20 target. It's not the best. I mean, obviously, it still could work and it still could be, you know, viable. But on a day like this, I try to at least have 1-to-1. But it probably still could work for some points. Excuse me. I just don't know. I just don't want to double dip here. You guys can hear me, right? Excuse me. I just don't know. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I unfortunately probably picked a crappy day to start doing these future streams, as the markets are getting absolutely, you know, massacred. We did get a pretty decent bounce, but and the key thing too is if you look at ES is trying to hold the opening print here. If we can hold this opening print, and if ES now drops below the opening print, I'm gonna say hands off. I don't really want to short because if you look, we're right at this weekly 8. We bounce at the weekly 8 EMA, so I don't really want to short this move unless we break the low of the day, right? Low of the day break, we could, but then you have to ask yourself, how much are we going to drop in one day, right? Are we going to get a 150 to 200 point downside move in one day? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe, right? To give perspective, right? This was the Jackson Hole event, right? This day here, this massive daily bar. The fact that we've almost mirrored that entire move already is pretty significant. There's an alert on my Tempest. Ooh. That does look solid. Nice daily 20 bounce. So the long, I guess, like kind of worked if you longed. I mean, again, these aren't crazy moves, but you know, you longed at 60, you would have gotten 20 points right there up to that 80, which is basically the target, that VWAP, that 5-minute 8. So again, you know, it worked. Was it a big miss if you didn't take it? No, absolutely not. It is what it is, right? So for me now, I want to see us back above this area. I would say a 5-minute close back above. So in theory, if anyone took that, you could have easily banked 15, 20, maybe even 25, depending on how aggressive you were with an entry. But now I want to see a 5-minute close above there. Otherwise, it can be tough. I don't really want... I mean, like, you can maybe make the case. You can short underneath here. I just don't know if I want to force the mental capital, because in theory... Let's just say you were to short. Let's say you short, get an entry at, call it like 30. Your stop would have to be like above here, sort of. Stop would be like, or target would be here. It's just not the best. I mean, maybe you could tighten it a little bit more to make it like a 1-to-1. You'd have to target, you know, this would be basically the area to short to, the opening print and level, which I don't really love. So again, this might just be one where I just let it go if it does end up setting up the short entry there. So for now, just waiting. I mean, Dow, I mean, everything kind of looks the same. There's not really one with relative strength, relative weakness. It kind of just looks across the board, same deal. So we shall see, guys. If I'm not seeing anything, though, I'm going to just log off. You know, I want to spend more time on futures, but I know myself and I know my plan, where if I can't execute anything in my plan within, like, you know, a short period of time, then it's not worth my time. But I am fully willing and anticipating trying to take some trades here. So, morning, Jose. Morning, Jose. Like, you could probably advocate for the short here, I'm just not going to take it. Like I said, it could easily work back down to the opening print. ES is underneath the opening print. The only thing is the Dow is right at the opening print. The RTY is above the opening print. So ES is the weakest by definition. So if you're going to short, you're probably going to short ES, right? I just don't know if I'm going to do any of that. How much are you up today? So I just took one trade earlier. As you can see it on my screen. At least you should be able to see on my screen here. Yep, right there. Across 3 different accounts. Pinky, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Appreciate that. So I use 3 different prop firms at the moment, guys. I use Tradeify, I use Take Profit Trader, and I use Alpha. This right here is Alpha. I don't have a affiliate deal with them. I have not gotten a payout from them yet. And I have a kind of a thing where I don't promote anything that I don't get a payout from, right? So for me, I'm liking them. I just can't really get in my groove, right? But I like them so far. So if you guys want to check out Alpha, again, I don't have any affiliates, so be happy to go check it out if you'd like. But I do fully advocate for Take Profit Trader and Tradeify. Those are the 2 that I'm using. Those are kind of the OGs for me. Using code Zach gets you a discount on both of those. Yeah, Robert, I think Instagram has, about a 30-second delay. TikTok is, 5 seconds. YouTube is, 6 seconds or something. Or maybe it's, 4 seconds and 3 seconds or something like that. That's so much money. If you think this is a lot of money, which, again, in the scheme of life, it definitely is, considering this was, a 5-minute trade. But you don't even know the possibilities that trading can bring. Gold did have a big run indeed, yeah. I don't usually trade gold, but maybe gold's moving. Indeed it is. Jeez, look at this run. Is it all-time high? Yeah. Maybe we'll watch some gold, huh? This would have been the entry somewhere in here. Gold is also very volatile. So. Realistically, that'll need a pullback, so I don't want to take that there. And just watch NQ here. See if we get some type of failure to go lower. So, again, you could have maybe shorted here and gotten some points, but like I said, for me personally, it's not worth the mental capital. If it flushes down, makes new lows of the day, I tip my cap to the market. You're not going to catch every single move. All you can do, right, and I say this every day, all you can do is figure out what you can do day in and day out, right? You want to be able to trade the same setups over and over and over. Other setups will definitely work. The market will move, but the key thing to understand is just because the market is moving doesn't mean that there's a, quote, setup. Sometimes the market will just move, right? And that's what you have to understand. Took an entry on gold. Nice. I'm gonna get rid of this, but again, the long idea did work from level up to like this 5-minute 8 VWAP area. You could have gotten like at least 15 points, if not 20 to 25 plus. But now again, I could see the justification for a short. I'm just not gonna take it. Yeah. I mean, I know people like their fibs, right? I don't personally use fibs. I just can eyeball most things now, right? This is kind of like that golden pocket area that like it should bounce from. So could it fade a little bit more? And yeah, it could. But I don't like things that can kind of go either way. I like to be very definitive either way, whether it's up or down or whatever. I like to be very definitive. If I can make the case for multi-directional, it's probably not the best setup for me. But we shall see. Again, like I said, I'm going to be on here. I'm willing to be on here for an hour, 2 hours. But if I don't see anything, and just kind of, and I can just kind of tell, okay, this may take an hour, this may take a 15-minute buy setup, and this, I'm just going to hop off. There's no reason to spend the energy on it. But I am willing. But I'll be right back, guys. I'm just going to run to the bath quick. All right. We are back. The entry would be a short off the 8, short off level. I mean, I don't really love the short. Like I said, it can kind of go either way here. It's kind of in the spot where it could pivot if it gets back above level. It could, you could advocate for the short here, but I'll wait for this at the very least this 15-minute close. If the short works, great, but. Yeah, you could wait for the previous break, but the problem just then lies the R to R is not great. Like I said, this is the area that you look for entry, so let's just call it here. The stop would probably have to be like somewhere around here, let's call it. So let's call it a 40-point stop for 30-ish point target. It's just not the best R to R. Again, it could still work, but it's just not the best. Especially because the other indices are in kind of awkward spots. RTY is trying to hold. The Dow just rejected the opening print actually, so the Dow's a bit weaker. It's just kind of the RTY NQ with some strength, ES, and then the Dow with some weakness here. So we'll see. I'm going to give it at the very minimum to the hourly close, though, so one more 15-minute candle and see if we can get anything. I honestly would probably prefer allowing, if a short does play out, and then looking to long somewhere in here, because that's where we have a level there, plus we have the opening print. We are getting compressed a bit. We are getting compressed a bit by these lower time frame EMAs. So that's the only kind of bad thing about it, but it could work. Yep, this is the NASDAQ. Indeed it is. So I'm definitely watching to see if we can get back up to, or get down to that opening print. I'm passing on the short personally. Like I said, I can see the short playing out, but I'm just passing on it. Guys, let's see if we get to 1K likes on TikTok, guys. Let's see if we get to 1K there on TikTok. Double tap that screen. Really appreciate the support, guys. So we are getting that kind of short play out here. Let's see if we get back down to that opening print. I'm not going to take it directly here as we are approaching it right now. I want to see some 5-minute buy setup off of that opening print area right here. Alright, so there we are back down to that opening print. So in theory, like this is the area that like should hold. I say quote should. Let's see. Thank you guys for the gifts on TikTok. Appreciate that. We got to 1K likes as well. Really appreciate that. So we're back down to level. Let's see if we hold. Let's see if we fade. If we fade through it, I'm probably just going to call it. I'm not really interested in trying to short into this kind of support area, plus the weekly 8 EMA on ES. I would want to see some type of 5-minute buy setup from right here. You long the level. All right. If you longed it, you could have gotten some, right? Also right off opening print. So if you wanted to be aggressive with that, absolutely. You know, that could definitely have worked, gotten you some points for sure. 10 to maybe 12, 15 points. If this next 5-minute bar closes solid, I'm going to take some though. ES has pretty much faded the entire rally, right? Almost a 30-point drop from those highs. This is kind of what I want to see shaping up right here. If we can kind of sit right here and not get too extended, I'll probably take some longs. So the RTY is fading a bit now too. The Dow is well under the opening print, so you know, we kind of have to hold right here. It's the kind of the must-hold spot. If we don't get too extended from here, we can look for longs. If it starts to bounce, kind of is what it is. Yeah, I mean, so in theory, if I were to go along, let's say I go along at like 10, my my target would be around here. So it'd be about 25 points, call it 25 points. So my stop loss would be the same, roughly around here. You could say like under this candle right here if you want. So like under 80. So it's about 1 to 1. It is possible ES may want to sweep the lows first before. I could see that scenario playing out where ES makes a new low on the day. We're pretty close. I mean, we're like 3 or 4 points away. So maybe that is a case before we start making a move up, possibly. Let's see. This is what I want to see, though, guys. This is definitely what I want to see. Yeah, Robert, I don't know what happened to Instagram. It went down. I didn't want to restart the stream and potentially miss some trades, but this is what I want to see here. So I'm going to look for a potential long, call it 10, targeting like 25 point stop, 25 point take profit or so. I go probably like 7 micros, call it 7 micros, 6 micros, about risking 350 to 400. I'd be willing to do that. Wait for this 5-minute close though. 2-minute also is about to close. The 2-minute looks solid. I'm just wait for this 5-minute close. If the 5-minute close is around here, I'll take it. Again, quote, it should hold here if it's going to hold. It obviously could fade, but that's the nature of the market, right? You're placing your bets in theory as to what you think is going to happen. So, I'm going to try to get in at like 10. If I can get in at 10 with a 25-point stop, that's not bad. Come on, give me fill at 10. I tried to long it at 10 and I didn't get filled. I had an order at 23,110. There's 7 points. I'll keep the order open for a minute. If it doesn't get filled, I'm not going to enter it. Because then the R to R gets shifted for sure. As
Order
it is.
filled. Order
Okay,
filled.
I got filled. So I'm long, so I'm at 10. Targeting about here. If we can get a quick impulse, give me like 20 points real quick, 15 points real quick, I'll just take it. Even if the R to R quote isn't great, but if we get that immediate impulse, I can always just move my stop, right? So this is the idea as of now.
Order filled.
Oops. I fat fingered one extra sell by accident. So I'm in 5 long here. 5 long. I meant to do 6, but I set a stop for 5, and I guess one of them just triggered. So I have 5 long now, as you guys can see here on the screen. Take profit is if we get that immediate impulse up there. I'm gonna buy the other one back. Just
Order filled.
might as well. Same difference. It's basically the same thing. You know, all September long, I'm not really looking for home runs. I'm just looking for base hits. It goes with futures, goes with options, kind of everything. So. So risking about $300 on this trade to make about 300. So overall, it'll be either a solid win, or I should say a solid winning day because I already had one small trade, or a small losing day. You know, I don't think today is the day to start pressing for big trades, whether for good or whether for bad. Just gonna let it play out. This is futures trading, whoever asked that in the chat. I mean, in theory, we can bang against here and then still push higher. Like, that makes it a bit better. And I mean, honestly, again, anything can happen, but big picture, like, you know, I know people like fibs, so I just draw them for those who like that, you know. And again, fibs aren't bad. It's an added confluence, right? This is where it should hold. I just don't draw them because I kind of know mentally where it should hold and what it should hold, right? Like what areas. So that's why I don't really draw them. But like this is the area that it kind of needs to hold at. So I don't need to draw the fib for me to know that, but that's basically the thought process behind it. I think what I'm gonna do is if I can trim like 3 for 15 points and then trim another 3 for like 20 points, I can make for a decent little trade. So let's see. Let us see.
Order filled.
Alright, I just took 3 off there for 15 points, guys. Now I'm going to hold the other 3 for 20. You can see on the screen, guys, at all times right here, right, in the background. I'll make it very visible for now. It says NQ, which is the ticker I'm trading, and then 5 is the time frame I'm trading. So you can see that at all times. I'm hoping to make it in a spot where it's visible. Hopefully it's visible at least. Maybe that's a little bit better now. Actually, no, now you can't see that. Let's try that. It's a bit better, not the best, but whatever. We're making it work. Yeah, most of the time my R to R for futures is 1-to-1 for the most part, yeah. I still have my stop remaining on the last 3, so overall it'd be like a break-even trade. Maybe a small L, actually, if it does get triggered. If this holds, I'd be willing to potentially add, but if not, I'm just gonna hold it to my stop. So we got a 15-point trim. Now we're in about 10 points of drawdown. If the trade hits stop loss, it'll be pretty small loss, like maybe a $100 net loss, maybe even less. But I'm just going to let it play out at this point. Again, this is the spot that should hold, so if it doesn't, again, like I said before, I mentioned it up here that I could see the short working, the short did work. It's just more the mental thing for me, where I know this is the area that should work for a long. And so, you know, we were able to get some points, but now fading. So overall, if this starts to now fade, you know, it's very possible. I mean, we have to wait and see. If NQ takes out its low, it could get very ugly. ES still is approaching its previous low, which could happen first. I said that that could be what happens, you know, a sweep of those lows or a push lower before making any type of move up. Or it just continues lower, obviously. That's another scenario. So we'll wait and see. But I gave it my shot here as the pre-planned trade was. Got some points. You know, in theory, if I were to have closed all there at 15 points, it would have been great. But I was looking for more upside, potentially 30, 25 plus, you know. Likely going to eat the stop on the remaining of this position now. I'm thinking ES wants to sweep that low. We're so close to it now. We're like literally 2 points. Yeah. So I took a $70 loss overall on that trade. And there goes ES breaking those lows as well. So I took a $70 loss on that trade overall. I was up 160 on the day. Actually, not even $70, like $65. But, you know, you could have go back and say, okay, if I took all the profit at 15 points, then I could have just avoided that. But that's trading, right? You're never going to always do it. But took a piece off. I could have moved my stop to even, but I wanted to give it the room to actually try and work. But now we're heading way lower, so we shall see. Not really sure if there's going to be anything else. I mean, maybe if ES trades 63.76s. Check out gold. I know I mentioned gold needed a pullback when we first watched it. Let's see. I mean, it's really just consolidating here at this 5-minute 8 EMA. I don't think I want to take it. So ES did make new lows. We're approaching that 63.76 kind of support area here. Not really sure if I want to take another stab at anything. We gave it a go, but I'll wait and see. Alrighty. So RTY is back to the opening print. Dow also weak, of course. Yeah, we're just really not in a good spot. Truthfully, we're just not in a good spot. So the short obviously would have played out. You would have had to, have held from, 30 points in profit almost back to break even for the trade to really work. I wouldn't have taken this direct short here, and it did just flush right after anyway, but it is what it is. NQ new lows. Actually, no, NQ, sorry, not new lows. Yeah, ES new lows. Yeah, I think I'm gonna hop off here, guys. I'm not thinking anything else. At this point, I'm not going to short. I'm also not going to long. There's no reason to kind of just waste everyone's time, including myself, just trying to make something out of nothing here. So I'm going to hop off. If I see anything else, I'll signal it in the Discord. I don't think I'll take anything else. We gave it a go in futures. Basically a break-even trade, minus 60 bucks. If we were to have sold all at 15 points, we would have made about 200 bucks, but it is what it is. That's how trading works sometimes.